So hello and welcome to another Raggy's brew video. So literally tonight I've had my order from Love Brewing. I ordered 5 beer kits, 200 pints of beer. Well, hopefully anyway, you know, as long as I don't screw it up. So I'm using my wide fermenter tonight, although I've just noticed a little bit of muck there, which I you know, don't want anywhere near the, so yeah, there we go. So I've already sterilised it, obviously, but obviously I've missed that bit, and you know, cleanliness is absolutely godliness. There you can see the brew kit, you know, the fermenter. It is a 30-litre kit. For me, you shouldn't brew in anything less than a 30-litre. And if you're brewing something, say like a Munton's Milk Stout kit, which can get, or an Imperial Stout, which can get, you know, you want to go for a 40-litre. Even if you're brewing 25, trust me, when it expands, you'll thank me. So I'm brewing tonight, made by Munton's for Woodfordes Brewery, and it's their Tinsel Toes. I have wanted to brew this in so many years, and you know, I just did get off my backside and do it. So it's a 40-pint brew kit, Brewer's Own Real Ale kit, Ruby Ale, 4.4%. Woodfordes, fantastic brewery based in Norfolk. We'll talk about the beer. I've already boiled the kettle once. So this beer comes, so it's a 40-pint kit. Not all their kits are 40 pints, some might be less. So, quite easy. You get yeast. So 6 grams of yeast premium, that's what it says there. That's what one thing you get. That'll go in obviously at the pour. And yeah, 6 grams of yeast premium, so 2 lots of yeast. It says what it is. So 2 tins of extract and Cascade hop pellets. There we go. I wasn't expecting that, so that is interesting. This time I'll make sure that I put the bloody pellets in the right beer. So first things first, if you're at home, warm the tins up in hot water first, and don't use a slim neck when you're using tins. Sometimes, obviously, it's not always doable. You have to do what you do. And this bloody tin opener's rubbish. You can hear it catching. So it's not quite got it all where I need. Invest, if you can, in a decent tin opener. You'll thank yourself and me by doing it. You see what I mean? It's catching. Oh, so annoying. Means I'm going to have to go down the old route. So I'll prepare the knife for what could be a little bit of fun in a minute. So the next one, here we go. Is it the wrong side of the tin? Oh, the tin. It's just my gripe in this day and age using tins, but not only that, it's the fact that my tin opener's rubbish. Look at this. Oh. this. It's not even turning the stupid thing around. Am I doing it the right way? Sure, I'm doing it the right way. Do you know the weird thing is, these days you don't use tin openers that much. Let me pause a minute. So I'm back. I found the other tin opener, so hopefully this will do it. And you know, it's a pitfall, obviously, when you're doing videos, that the blooming tin opener as a nightmare. Yep. So there's one tin. Job's a good one. And you can look at me and think, blooming heck. So this is Raggy's Beer Reviews. He's been brewing for, you know, quite a few years. And I'm not joking, probably 20 years of home brewing. And even still, you know, making, I suppose what you'd say is errors that could have been, you know, could have been gone past, really. Obviously tins, when they're in, you know, when they're in being travelled and that, there's chances that something's going to happen. So to be, you know, to do whatever you can to get past that is a good idea. So there we go. So normally it takes me around about 20 minutes to brew. As soon as this has gone in and the other one, and I'm boiling the next kettle, we'll have a look at the instructions and see what the instructions say. Technically, I can't. We shouldn't have to put sugar in this. I wouldn't have thought it. But one never knows, you know. So I'm just gonna, yeah, try and kill the. There we go. So now I'm gonna pour the tin into there. Pour the kettle into there rather. Let that settle. Pour the other tin in, and there we go. So obviously, if these had been warmed up, it would pour in a lot easier, and you'd get rid of most of it pretty much straight away. I normally use 2.5 kettlefuls of boiling hot water in a brew, a 40 pint brew. That is. If it's 32 pints, I'll use 2 kettlefuls. My kettle holds about 1.7 litres. You know, if you want to be absolutely sure, you measure everything out. I'm doing it on camera. It's, you know, it's a little bit more hassle for me to measure every single thing out. So you take this as what you think, you know. Now the beer itself, Tinsel Toes from Woodfordes. Oh, what a beer. And this is the amazing thing with these beer kits, is that Muntons make them using the recipes that Woodfordes, their recipes, and I would assume that Woodfordes head brewer tastes it and says, yep, that's pretty much bang on, and that's all you need really. So I'm just gonna try and kill it now, so that I can at least, although you kill it on one side and it comes splurting out on the other blooming side. There we go. And again, hot water in. Right, so obviously we want every last ounce of the, and this time I'm going to use these, every last ounce of that malt going in. So here we go, just to make sure I don't pour it on myself. And it's a lot cleaner, and that's without actually doing much work, to be fair. So that's good news for me. That one not so much, so I obviously didn't leave that long enough to drain it off. So just put that into there in a sec. So it says on the front, clean and sterilise all beer making equipment, stand cans not water for 5 minutes, which I didn't do. Pour can contents into the sterilised fermenter. With this all malt beer kit, you do not need to add any sugar, so sugar is not needed. Add 3.5 litres of 6 pints of boiling water. I actually add 4 pints, but top up with cold water to 23 litres, thoroughly mix to ensure all contents are thoroughly dissolved. Sprinkle both yeast sachets onto the beer, cover in the fermenter and leave to stand for 7 to 10 days. In a warm place between 18 to 20 degrees, hopefully anyway. Add contents of up sachet on day 4, so I've got to remember that. Fermentation will be complete when bubbles cease to rise. If you use hydrometer, when the gravity rate remains constantly below 1014. And then transfer the beers. So a really easy kit, you know. That's where you've got to be careful of losing any malt down the sides. Didn't do it at all on that one, even though it's split in the middle. Can't win them all. Can't win them all. Like I say, I reviewed Tinsel Toes on the channel. They're kindly sent to Ragged's Beer Reviews by Woodfordes. Love their beers. And luckily near me, well, the other side of Nottingham, there's a pub called the Victoria Hotel in Beeston, but also York Chambers in Long Eaton, who have a Woodfordes beers quite regularly. So, you know, if you live locally to me, check them out, you know, or nag your pub owners and say, I want some quality modern traditional beers. Sometimes it's the power of people that get things done. And sometimes pubs are too in their ways stuck buying the same beer that doesn't sell. This is a day and age now where beers need to chop and change as much as they can, while still retaining the odd beer that you have in very regular. If a beer sells out stupidly fast, you have that beer back in regular. Don't need to keep permanent lines. Breweries, a lot of breweries like your Woodfordes will continue to, you know, do their beers. There we go, pretty spotless now. So I'll do this one. Yep, and again, spotless. So just going to pour the rest of this in. It's great when it does it for you because it saves the hassle of me having to swirl it round. With stouts, you have to swirl it and swirl it and swirl it. So literally half a kettleful now. Put it on. Right. So yeah, the tins are looking good. Happy about the tins. Now that's boiling, I'm just going to give the mix a bit of a swirl now, because it's going to need that hot water to get really thick and gloopy at the moment. So you really want to swirl it round, especially while your kettle's boiling anyway. Keep swirling it round. Get it to be, you know, keep going until it's really easy to swirl. It smells amazing. So obviously, you don't have to go through this. You can actually go and buy Tinsel Toes directly from the brewery. Which, to get the real deal, is the thing to do. Now I'm hoping somewhere in Nottingham actually sells Tinsel Toes, so I'll go and get a bloody a bottle of it, so I can do beer versus beer video. I forgot about that. I didn't think, you know, ahead. So it says on the back, this seasonal beer, rich and spicy fruit flavours combined with roasted malts and hops to perfectly balance its dark raw aftertaste. Red in colour, it's a ruby temperatures bursting with flavour. Merry Christmas. Woodfordes Brewery, based in the heart of the Norfolk countryside, Woodfordes has built an enviable reputation for producing a superb range of beers, many of them award-winning, and all are recognised for their impeccable flavour and quality. Can't fault that. Woodfordes Real Ale Kits. The Woodfordes Real Ale Kits have been produced using only the finest ingredients and is based on Woodfordes' original grist formulation. Made with the brewery's own choice of hops, the beer you brew will compare most favourably to its commercial equivalent. Regional variations in water quality may have a subtle influence on the taste of the final brew. Yeah, that's always going to be the thing. Whereas Woodfordes and other breweries will, you know, test their water and maybe adjust their water to be the same water every single time. People like me, based in Nottingham, use Severn Trent water, which is actually pretty decent, to be fair. But, you know, there might be a slight variation on that theme. You know, it is what it is. So there's the rest on him. That's it. Beautiful. So I'm just going to give that a swirl round. You know, you've got to get every last drop of that malt out, because that malt is what makes you your beer, obviously. But obviously also, water makes your beer. So, I'll be a bit clever here now, because I've put this in, and there we go. So stick this in, and there we go. Look at that, absolutely clean as they come. So I've got all the malt out, and yeah, that's really the hard part over. Obviously, be careful of heat. You know, none of us want to end up in hospitals with burns. So, using a 2 litre juggy thing. This was washed in the dishwasher. If you really want to be absolutely spotless, you can sterilise it, but it's already been washed literally yesterday, or even today probably. So now we're going to get it up to 23 litres. You can use hose pipe, I suppose, if you really wanted to, as long as it was clean and washed beforehand. The thing is, with any brews, there's always a better way to do it. I'm showing you my way. Somebody else will say, yeah, I don't care for your way. There's a better way. This is the thing, you know, with all brewing, with any job, you know, there's always going to be a better way of doing something. But certainly heating the tins up beforehand is the smart play. As part of this new beer review kit all that I've done, I've got 5 kits. 4 of those kits are tins. So as much as I hate using tins, the other 3 kits I'll put them in hot water beforehand. So a bit more. So we're about 23.5 litres. So I may lose a little bit on ABV, only a smidget, you know. So here we go. There's the pour. There we go. That's going to be, that'll basically be the colour once it's cleared and that. So now we can start thinking about putting the. If one can find a pair of scissors, put in the, forgot about blooming scissors. The yeast in. So the hops, they're going to be stored away till day 4, so we're not going to worry about the hops for the time being. The yeast is going in now. So, oh, hydrometer. So I've just washed the hydrometer out, and it is reading. What's it reading? So really, I've got this. So put it in the middle. I can't read it when it's surrounded by blooming foam. So it looks like it's reading 1040. So whether that equates to 4.4% in the end, I'm not sure. I can do the calculator. So if my phone lets me, because my phone's about to die. Oh no. ABV calculator, my guess is 1040 because it still has some bits around it. ABV calculator, well, Coronation Street's ended. Not that I'm bothered about Coronation Street, not at all. And this is the good thing about doing homebrew beer stuff. I can escape Coronation Street for an hour. Oh yes, indeedy. ABV calculator. Brewer's Friend, I'll use that. Do apologise for the quality in the kitchen, it's not at its best. So, if it was 1040, it comes out at 3.94. So it may have been a bit higher than 1040, just because you can't see it 100%. So now yeast. So we'll chuck the yeast in. And obviously, with the yeast, I'm not overly bothered about stirring it in because I've got to lift it upstairs, 40 litres, and my back, luckily, is holding at the moment, which is good. A very good thing. So, there we go. It'll mix it nicely, and yeah, so 26 minutes. Bit of a longer brew this time, to be fair. I usually get it done in about 18-20 minutes, so there we go. That is Woodfordes Tinsel Toes, and so hopefully should get the 4.4% or near enough in literally a couple of weeks, I suppose. You know, that's the grand idea. I'm going to put the lid on. Smell the breadiness already, and that is my brew of Woodfordes Tinsel Toes. If you need a proper brew, go directly to Woodfordes. If you want to try it, go to Woodfordes and buy the kit. And the smart person would buy the kit and a bottle or a case of Tinsel Toes to make sure that you get both, and then you can do a comparison. But hey ho, always forgetful. Thank you for watching. See you soon.